Hey, this is Caroline with 10 Tiny Toes Yoga, and today's class is therapy for your neck. So if you have that techie neck or the newborn mom neck or the weight of the world neck, so many issues, this class is for you. So to help you facilitate some more modifications in our class today, if you have a strap or a belt or a kitchen towel, those will work. And if you have some blocks, those can come in handy as well. So grab whatever you need, put on your stretchy pants, and let's get flowing. So I'll switch back and forth in my positioning just to help you guys see different angles a little bit better. But I want you to right now, if you can, elevate your hips just a little bit. So if you have a block, I was doing this practice with my sister yesterday, just trying it out with some different things. And a strong pillow works just as well. So if you can elevate your hips just a little bit, that's automatically going to take that outward curve out of your back, and it's going to roll your hips forward, and that helps you with that alignment just to stack everything up. So we're going to be here for a little bit, and if your knees start to get tired or weak, we can definitely switch them out. But also with having your hips elevated, you're not putting so much pressure on your knees, so you can sit for a longer amount of time. So just think about that if you're trying to get down on the floor with your kids a lot. So with your hips elevated, your mind calm, your hands just relaxing down on the tops of your knees, I want you to right now just start to close off the world, get into your own body, and to just address how you're feeling this morning. So let's taking a deep breath in through our nose. Exhale that breath slowly. These first few can just be with your mouth open. Inhale again in through your nose. Notice your shoulders rising, and then as you exhale, consciously allow your shoulders to relax down your back a little bit more. One more, inhaling in just like this. Your ribs expand, and exhale. Sign that breath out, bringing some awareness to your core as you pull that belly button in, squeezing that breath out. And now from right here, we're just going to take our head and we're going to look right and left. So taking your right ear over your right shoulder, we're not nodding our head. We're just noticing if we have any tightness across our chest. Look to the right. And then inhale, coming back through the center, and look over to your left. So I'm already noticing some anomalies, how one side is a lot tighter than the other. And then inhaling back through neutral. Let's start with some shoulder shrugs. So on an inhale, scoop your shoulders together, hike them up into your ears, and then exhale, let them roll down your back. 2 more times. Inhaling forward, really pinching them up. So we're exaggerating this move. We're contracting all of the muscles on our neck on purpose, just to get the blood pumping to them, letting them know we're about to start working them. And then let's go the opposite way. So shrugging your shoulders back, hugging them up into your ears. 2 more times. Automatically feeling that opening across the back of your shoulders and your top of your back. And then coming back towards neutral, relaxing your shoulders down your ears 1 more time. I'm going to turn to face you for these first few stretches. So, closing your eyes, relaxing your hands down the tops of your knees. Pull in your spine, sitting up tall and strong. Feel the crown of your head elongate up towards the sky. Relax your shoulders down your back, leaning back just a little bit slightly so that you're not crunching forward. We're starting to counteract all of that posture issues that we might have. Take a deep breath in. And then as you exhale, I want you to drop your right ear over to your right shoulder. So I'm going to mirror you guys. So we dropped it directly over to the side. Your right ear is up towards the sky. I'm sorry, your left ear is up towards the sky. Your right ear is down towards your shoulder. Now you can stay here or try to walk your hand out just to your side. We're elevated, so our hands aren't going to be down on the floor, but act like you're trying to reach that floor, pulling your elbow back, rotating your thumb up so that you feel more of a stretch down the front of your shoulder. And if you have a little bit more, these are all steps, so stop at your comfort level. Can you bring your right hand on top of your ear and just give it a little extra push? This is a very intense stretch, and we're going to hold this for our next 4 breaths. So take a deep inhale in, closing your mouth. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more. Feel free to close your eyes and just focus on the sensations that you're feeling in your neck. And then our last breath, inhaling in here. And exhale. Now we're going to stay in this stretch, but I want you to take your chin down towards your collarbone. So I'm like screaming into my microphone right now. So again, if you want to have that arm out, you can. Thinking about your posture, have you started to lean over to the right? Can you pull yourself back up? You're pulling your chin in towards your collarbone, feeling the stretch now on the back of your neck. So if you want to take your hand a little bit further back on the back part of your head and add that additional little push, we're going to hold this for 4 breaths. So inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. These isometric holds are so good for allowing your body to really sink into it. I'm not doubting that there's a bit of discomfort. 1 more. And since we have now been stretching out these muscles, we don't want to make them work right now. So using your hand, supporting your head, push your head back up. Hands come down on top of your knees. And just rest here for a minute. You probably should feel a big opening in that left side of your neck. And now we're going to even it out. So here we go. Taking your left ear over to your left shoulder. That should feel pretty weird on your neck right now with all of that stretching that we just did. And again, you can stay right here with your hands on top of your knees, or you can extend your right arm out to the side, pulling that elbow back, letting that shoulder blade sink down your back, maybe rotating your thumb up towards the sky. And just letting that ear travel down closer to your shoulder. If you want to add the additional little oomph of your hand on top, you can join me here. And then 2 more breaths. So this is a very slow start, but this is a very therapeutic beginning. So we're going to revisit some of these postures again at the end of our class, after we go through a little bit of flow and build up more heat in our body. But after this class, I'm not going to lie, you're going to feel amazing. I did this a little bit in the morning and then a full one later on in the afternoon. Now, dropping your chin in towards your collarbone. So you're getting that little crunch in that side of your neck, but you're feeling the stretch on that back right hand. And if you want, back right hand side of your neck, I'm sorry. And if you want, you can add your hand to the top of your head again. Just breathing in 4 slow breaths, eyes closed. Feel that sensation. One more breath. And then once again, use your hand to push your head up. Don't rely on those muscles just yet. Relaxing your hands down. We're going to go into a seated cat and cow. Now, I really do want you to exaggerate the curve on your back for this one. So come off of that block if you are sitting on one. Keep them close by. We're going to be using them again. And I will turn to the side again just to show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about. So relaxing your hands on the tops of your knees. On an inhale, you're going to squeeze your shoulders back, lift your throat up to the sky. Act like you're really squeezing your back. And then as you exhale, you're punching your spine out between your shoulders, rolling back, really exaggerating that curve. You probably roll back if you weren't holding onto your knees. And then here we go, inhaling, squeeze, 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 squeeze. We have to strengthen those upper and mid backs. And then exhale, rolling back. This should feel comfortable. This is the posture we're in all the time. And then one more time, pull that chest through. Feel that stretch down the front of your abdominals, squeezing your shoulders back together. And then exhale, coming to a neutral spine. Take your feet, sit them out in front of you. They can be together, they can be a little bit apart. We're just getting some blood pumping down into them in case you've been sitting cross-legged for a little bit. And we're going to start with building up some core strength. So a lot of the reasons our necks are so painful is because we have weak cores. Our cores are like this and we don't have really good posture. So automatically sitting down, rooting your sit bones down into the mat. This should be such an easy pose, but it is so hard to hold. You start to feel your hip flexors engage, your quads. This is totally engaging your mid back. So just sitting upright like this, we're already working on our core. Now let's add a little bit of movement to this. So your hands are down by your side. On an inhale, circle your arms around and up to the sky. Twisting your pinky fingers forward is going to help to sink your shoulders down into their sockets. And then taking your left arm down to the mat, lean over to the left side, stretching out that hip. And then bring both arms back up to the sky. And exhale, coming over to the other side. So we're just stretching out our side body. You'll see us visit this a lot different areas in our class today. Pinkies are forward. And now exhale, hands come down behind your back. And we're going to push up either into a reverse plank or a reverse table. Reverse plank is a little bit more difficult. So let me show you your two options. Simply, you're pushing your heels down into the mat, pushing your hands down into the mat, and you're lifting your back body up. Now, if this is too hard for you, you can feel free to walk your feet in and squeeze down and push up into a reverse table. So again, you feel the stretch across your chest, across your shoulders. You're squeezing your glutes and your hamstrings, engaging your back body. And then exhale, lowering back down. So we're going to come into a cross-legged position one more time, and I'm going to turn and show you my back to show you this next pose. We're going into some cow's face arms. So sitting cross-legged, whatever works for you, I want you to take your strap or your towel. We're going into just another big opener. So we're going to leave that right there close to you for the first one. Leaving your hands down. Inhale, circle your arms around and up to the sky, spiraling those pinkies forward, just keeping that cue going because you'll see it helps me to sink my shoulders down. And then I want you to exhale your hands, bringing them behind your back, interlacing your arms just kind of at the elbows. Using this, can you lift your throat up to the sky, pulling your elbows back even more? So we're contracting all of these muscles in our back. If you have a desk job, this is a great stretch to do during the day, just to avoid that tech neck. And then release, bringing your hands out in front of you now. Walk your hands out just a little bit to stretch out your back. So we just did a big, heavy isometric contraction. And then we're counterbalancing that with a nice stretch. We should make these postures be mandatory at offices. And then walking your hands back up. Now you're going to take that strap, and I want you to place it in your right hand. And again, it can be a strap, it can be a belt, it can be a towel, whatever works. But you're going to lift your arms around and up to the sky, bending your right elbow, keeping that strap in your right arm. Can you grab it with your left hand behind your back? And then you are going to use this grip to pull your arm further down, lifting your elbow up towards the ceiling. So you're going for this straight line up to the ceiling, and then you're guiding your hand down your back. Some people have the flexibility just to grab, but that's not that common, especially with all the neck problems that people are getting these days. So if you have this strap, this makes this a whole lot more accessible. So I want you to stay here for a second. See if you can just maybe grip a little bit more or pull that hand a little bit further down. And you're going to start to feel this big stretch in your hip flexors. You're holding yourself upright, so you're toning your core. You're stretching out this whole latissimus dorsi. You're stretching out your rhomboid, that muscle between your shoulder blades and your spine. And then release, taking that right arm down. And now I want you just to take it across your chest for a shoulder stretch the opposite direction. So you're just going to take that same right arm, feed it across your chest. Our tendency, our inclination is to keep this shoulder up. Rotate your shoulder down. So you're really just bringing it straight out across your chest. I'm using my left hand against my elbow or my upper arm just to provide a little bit more balance. So more leverage, I'm sorry. So I feel it a little bit deeper down into my shoulder blade. And then release. Okay, so we're just circling out those wrists. We're going to go into the other side, but first we're going to go back into that stretch again of our reverse plank. So keeping your feet straight out in front of you again. Inhale your arms up to the sky. First, we're going to stretch it. So bringing your hands to the back of your head, maybe cupping your ears. Lean your chin down into your chest. We're not crunching down. We are just stretching out that neck, pulling our ears up and out. Just providing a little extra pressure here. And then relaxing this pressure on your neck. Now I want you to just see how much you can fold down a little bit. So this should feel like a really yummy stretch through your glutes and your hamstrings and your low back. And then inhale and come up. Hands come down to the floor, fingertips facing your toes. And you can pick your partner here. You can go to a reverse table by stepping your knees up, or you can keep your legs extended and go into a reverse plank. Just pushing your hips up towards the sky, feeling that stretch. And then coming down one more time. We're going to do those same exercises on the left side. I don't know about you, but my lower back is screaming for me to go into a child's pose, but not yet. We're still going to work this a little bit more. So again, taking your strap, placing it in your left hand. Inhale, circle both arms up to the sky. Dropping that strap down, keeping it in your left. Bending your right arm at the elbow behind your back, seeing if you can grab that strap, and then pulling the strap down, letting your left elbow fly up towards the ceiling, getting this stronger stretch. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders. Notice your posture. Are you hunched forward? Can you lean back? Lifting your chest up towards the sky, toning your abs. And then we're going to release. So taking that arm down and around. Don't worry. Child's pose is coming so soon. Now we're going to do that counter stretch. So taking your left arm across your chest, pushing into it. and then release. And now, my loves, we are going to come into our tabletop position. So coming on to all fours. All right. So we're going to get right into it because I know our backs are screaming for some movement right now. So thinking also always, not also, thinking always about your alignment. Make sure your hips are above your knees. Your hands are directly below your shoulders. Your fingers are spread out wide. And let's start rolling with our cats and cows. So on an inhale, lift your throat, lift your glutes. Exhale, hug your belly button into your spine. Push the mat away. Really allow your neck to drop. Don't hold it up. Inhale. As we roll through these cats and cows, we are stretching out our spine front and back. So a lot of us, when we get older, start to get those bulging discs. And that's because we've put too much pressure on our spine and we haven't allowed it to move in all of the directions. So as you go through this last cat and cow, really imagine your spine. You're rocking all of those vertebrae open. And then you're closing them all out, rocking them the other way. Coming down to a neutral spine, we're going to go into a calf stretch. So I'm going to walk a little bit more forward on my mat. So I want you to take your right leg and to extend it back behind you. Your toes are tucked under. And just for a moment here, stretch out. Your toes are really going to be pushing into the mat. You're kicking that heel back. You're keeping awareness in your core. You're not allowing your body just to sink down. Try to keep this straight line. And then engaging your glute, pulling yourself back up into your proper alignment. Squeeze that right glute to lift your right leg off of the floor. And we've seen this before, but we're going to stretch out those hips. So cross your right leg over your left leg to the back side of your mat. Walk your hands a little bit to the left and look back at that right leg, feeling this stretch all along your right hip. And then coming back towards neutral one more time. Engage that right glute to lift your right leg back up to the sky. Keeping your toes flexed. Be aware of your posture. Is your right hip way up high? Can you lower your right hip so that it feels like it's parallel with the left? And then one time, extend that left arm forward. So you've got the opposite arm and the opposite leg up. We're working on back strength. And we're going to try for one crunch. So you can stay here or you can join me in an extend on the inhale and then a crunch on the exhale. Inhale and extend. Drop your left hand back down to the mat. And now turning your right toes out to the right side. Bring your right foot off to the side of the mat. Tucking your left toes under. You can stay right here in this gates pose, or you can push your hips back towards your heels, starting to feel a big stretch on that right inner thigh. So you have options here. If you are right here, by all means, please stay right here. I want you just to feel this openness. So we're opening up everything that connects to your spine to make your neck feel more free. This is an extension of this posture. By pushing back, we're starting to engage more of our inner thigh. If you want to go even further, if this is very accessible to you, you can add a little twist here. So my right leg is out. I'm going to take my right arm. I'm going to slide it under my left and come all the way down. It's like how to make a human pretzel 101. But I know some of you are going to want to feel a little bit more stretch. And then no matter where you are, take one more deep breath here. And then let's push ourselves back up, unwinding, bringing both hands down to the mat. We're not finished with this leg yet. I want you to engage that right glute. Swing that right leg back behind you again. Bend your right knee at the knee. That was brilliant. And then you can stay here for this one little glute exercise, or you can add a little bind by sweeping your left arm back behind you and grabbing those right toes. And then you can push your foot away from you, push into your mat, and lift your throat. Feeling this deep stretch from your quad all the way up to your hip. And then release, hips. Come back to parallel, knees are down on the mat. We can sit back just for a second to roll out our wrists if they were starting to get a little tight. Going in the opposite direction, rolling out your neck as well. And then sliding your hands back, let's go to the opposite side. So my alignment is good. I'm going to kick that left leg back behind me. My left toes are tucked under. Starting with that calf stretch, making everything loose and open. And then engaging my left glute, squeeze it and lift, cross it over to the right side of my mat. And walk my hands just a little bit over to the right, looking back at my left toes, feeling the stretch. Perfect. And then coming back towards neutral, engaging that left glute, lifting my left leg back up to the mat, paralleling my hips down to the mat, extending my opposite arm forward. Just a brief hold here. We have to work on our back strength in order to get stronger. And if you would like, you can stay here in this isometric hold, or you can join me for one crunch. Elbow comes down towards your knee. Inhale and extend. Exhale your right hand down to the mat. Turn your left toes to the left. Take them off to your left side. And set yourself up just for this gate pose again. So again, if you have to stay up here, that's fine. If you want to go a little bit deeper into this pose, you can sit your hips back towards your heels, feeling this big stretch on your left inner thigh. You can stay here for a couple of breaths. Or if you would like to do one final little extension, you can add a little thread the needle. We're going into this posture in just a minute, so this is just a little sneak peek of it. But you just take your left arm underneath your right and stretch it out. Okay, now sliding that right hand back by your face. And unwind here, pulling both knees back down to the mat. Take your knees wide, bring your big toes to touch, and sit your hips back towards your heels. We are coming into our child's pose now, sinking all the way down, taking a deep breath in. With each inhale, maybe let your fingers creep a little bit taller on your mat. And with each exhale, let your hips sink closer down into your heels. Inhale. And exhale. And we're going to go into a little side bend here. So walking your right hands over to the right side. You can place your left hand on top of your right, feeling this stretch, but I want you to focus on pushing your hips evenly back towards your heels. And then walking your hands through neutral, taking them over to the left side. Right hand is on top of your left, sinking your hips back, pulling your armpits down towards the mat. Feeling the stretch through your whole right side body. Inhaling and exhaling. My husband is failing horribly at keeping the children away. You can take the dog too. You're about to see a couple of naked kids. All right. So walking your hips back on top of your knees again. So we're back in this tabletop position. We are going to go into a puppy pose. So this is such a yummy pose, and I want to show you different variants of how you can get into it. So I want you to think about your heart melting down into this one. So the important bit is to keep your hips above your knees. You want to keep that stack for this alignment. And then what you're going to do is you are going to walk your arms out, still keeping your hips above your knees. And then you can melt your heart down into the mat. If that's too aggressive on your neck, you can by all means just bring your forehead down to the mat, but then you're really pushing into your neck, which is actually not bad. This is helping to build some more strength in your neck. But I would like for you to try and melt your heart down. If that's too aggressive, you can always bring your elbows out for more support. And on the other flip side of the coin, if you're like, this isn't enough, I don't feel like I'm getting any opening, you can take your 2 blocks and you can place your elbows on your blocks and you can allow your head just to sink through. So this is a beautiful, beautiful neck and chest opener. So it's getting into your shoulders, into your lats. I'm just bringing my forehead down to the mat. My hands I brought in prayer just to keep them up, give them something to do up here. And this isn't a posture to hold for very long. We're going to stay here about 3 more breaths, but it's a good back bend. So we're just constantly in this yoga therapy class trying to counteract that curve of our neck that we always do it's just a natural progression of aging. But we're really trying to counter that and give us more flexibility in our shoulders. So coming out of that, you're going to walk your hands back into your chest. And then we're going to go into a thread the needle. So you're going to have an option of using this block to modify, to help make this pose a little bit more accessible. So in your thread the needle, again, this is a spinal twist, a little inverted spinal twist. You can lift your right arm up to the sky, feel your chest open, and then as you exhale, slide that right hand under your left. So you can bring your ear and your shoulder all the way down to the mat. But if that is not accessible to you, bring your head down to that block. It just lifts you up a little bit more to help you get into this twist. And then when you're in this twist, I want you to think about your hips. A lot of the times we sway our hips over to the left. Can you pull your hips back to the right, making your hips parallel to the floor, really pulling those muscles out of your low back? And then sliding your left hand back towards your face, we're going to unwind, pulling our right arm through and all the way back up to the sky. And then exhale, your right arm comes down. Let's go into the other side. So on an inhale, lift your left arm up to the sky. Exhale, sliding that left hand all the way through. Head and shoulders can come down to the mat, or you can rest your head on that pillow or your block if that's what's more accessible to you. Pulling your hips back to the right, making them parallel down to the mat. Staying here for 1 more breath. And then exhale, sliding that right hand in front of your face. Inhale, unwind. Exhale your hands down to the mat. And now we are going to bring ourselves up. So tucking your toes under, walking your hands to the back of your mat, coming into a little bit of a squat pose. Staying here, just letting everything, the blood rush back down. And then keeping your knees wide, bringing your heels down to the mat. We're still in this forward fold. My knees are soft, they're not locked out. Interlace your arms at the elbows and let your head hang like a cherry on a stem. So don't hold it up. We're just allowing gravity to traction our spine, opening it up. If you would like, you can sway a little bit side to side. You can sway to the left, bend your left knee towards your face. Sway to the right. Feeling this opening. Notice if you're holding your head up. Can you shake your head? Yes and no. And then slowly releasing your arms. Slide your hands to the tops of your knees. Sit your hips back like you are sitting into a chair, and then slowly lift your torso just into this chair pose here. So once again, we don't want to come up too fast. We want to allow that blood just to gradually come down. And then we're going to slowly pushing down through our heels, straightening up our legs. Inhale our arms around and up to the sky. Exhale your hands down by your side, keeping your feet hip distance apart. You've got a soft bend in your knees. We're going to roll down and then roll back up 2 times. So starting with your chin, tuck your chin into your chest. Let your shoulders start to roll forward. Slowly rolling down your spine. Roll all the way down. So we're stretching our hamstrings, letting our head and our hands hang, letting your knees bend, and then now we're going to slowly straighten it back up. So starting to push your knees back towards straightness, not locked out, but a little bit more straight. And then slowly rolling up your spine. Your head is going to be the last thing to rise. Shrug your shoulders up by your ears, pulling them back. And let's do that one more time. Chin is into your chest, tucking your chin in. Start to roll your upper back down, then your lower back. This is a great way just to start your day and waking up. Bending those knees a little bit, maybe a little bit deeper now. And then slowly rolling back up, pushing your knees back up to straightness, rolling your upper body up. Last thing to lift is your head, and then you're shrugging your shoulders down and back. Come to the front of your mat. So we're going to stretch out the legs just a little bit, and then we're going to come back down and finish. So this isn't going to be a very full flow today, but it's going to be enough just to find some openness in our bodies. So at the front of your mat, your hands are down by your side. On an inhale, circle your arms around and up to the sky. Slight back bend if you'd like. And then exhale, forward fold, coming down towards your feet. Hands rest on the front of your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Circle your arms wide and up towards the sky. Hands meet in prayer. Exhaling them down towards your heart center. Pick up your right leg. Step it far back on your mat. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. And then opening up to warrior 2. Drop your right heel down, opening out to the wide edge of your mat. So if you look down, the back of your right foot is parallel with your mat. You can see your left toes. Your knee is going in the same direction as those toes. Your arms are out. Roll your shoulders down and back. Staying here for one more breath. Releasing your right arm down your right leg. Lifting your left arm forward. Reverse warrior. Leaning back. Inhale, coming back to your warrior 2. Straightening out both legs. Coming into an extended triangle. So you're bringing your left arm down to the mat. Your right arm travels up towards the sky. You can turn your gaze to look up at your right fingertips, or you can extend your right arm up by your bicep by your ear. My gosh. And just feel the stretch on that side body. Now looking down at your mat, You're going to put a little bend in that left knee. Turn your torso now to come over your left knee. Lower your right knee down to the mat. And from right here, we're going to go into a little quad stretch. So can you just lift your right foot off of the mat? If you want, you can sweep your left hand back and give it a little additional push. If that's not accessible to you, this is doing just as much right here with this little stretch. And then lower your right foot back down. Lift your right knee off of the mat so you're in this runner's lunge at the front of your mat. And I want you to walk your hands off to the right, and we're going to come to the back of your mat. So you're just walking all the way around to the left side, to the right side. Turn your right toes out. I am so sorry, you guys. I don't know what is wrong with my rights and my lefts today. And we're going to circle up, coming into that warrior two on the opposite side. So now you're facing the opposite direction on your mat. Checking your alignment. Your left foot is parallel to the left side. Your right knee is going the same direction as your right toes. Inhale in your warrior two. Sink another inch down. Dropping your left hand. Lift your right. Coming into a reverse warrior. And then inhale. Come back to your warrior two. Straightening out your right leg. Leaning forward. We're going to come into our triangle pose on your opposite leg. So your right hand is down, your left arm is up. You can leave your left arm up, turn your gaze to look up at your left fingertips, or you can bring your bicep by your ear for a little extended triangle pose, feeling this bigger stretch through your left hip. One more breath in here. And now putting a little bend in that right knee, turning your torso to face the back part of your mat. You're going to bring your hands down over your right thigh and lower your left knee down to the mat. So again, we're just doing the same thing on the opposite side. You can pick up your left foot off of the mat. So we're engaging this glute, this hamstring, stretching that quad. You can stay here, or you can circle your right arm behind you and see if there's a little bit more stretch in that quad that you would like to give. And then lowering your left leg back down to the mat. Lift your left knee off. You're coming back into that runner's lunge. And once again, we're going to walk to the side of our mat. So walking back to the left, stopping halfway here. So you are going to stop so that both of your toes are facing the wide end of your mat. I'm going to show you actually from the sideways. So you're here. I want you to walk your hands out a little bit further. So we're in down dog, but a very wide-legged down dog. And once again, allow your head to drop. Allow your chest to come through your arms. This is a very big stretch on your whole backside body, but I do not want you to hold your head up. Maybe shake it yes and no just to make sure you're not holding any tension there. And then slowly walk your hands closer to your feet. So this is going to feel a lot more comfortable here. And I want you to take your right hand and to grab anywhere on that left leg. So maybe you have to get up at your thigh. Maybe you can get just below the knee. But allow your right bicep to push you through. Pull yourself under, coming into a little inverted twist here. If this is comfortable for you and you'd like to go more, you can try and take your left arm more over towards your right leg. So you're just making a big X with your hands. And then we're going to release and go the other way. So taking yourself back to neutral. Inhale and exhale. Now taking your left hand, grab anywhere on that right leg. and allow your left bicep to pull you through. Just getting a little bit deeper. Let your head hang. And if you want, you can cross your right arm over to the left as well. We're just really going for that pretzel effect today. And then unwind. I promise we're done with these little twists. Okay, so we got to let that blood run back down. So I want you to turn your toes out. Your heels are in. Walk your hands slowly to the tops of your knees and sink into it a little bit. It feels so good to have that blood running back out. Now our shoulders are hunched up by our ears, so I want you to turtle your neck out. So lift your head, pulling your shoulders down and back. I arched my back. You don't want to arch your back, so roll those hips under, trying to get that alignment. And we're going to go in for one shoulder stretch before we bring it on home. So dropping your left shoulder down. Look over your right shoulder, feeling this stretch through the whole side body of your left side. And then inhaling back through neutral, drop your right shoulder looking over to your left. And inhale back through middle. Slowly bring your hands to a sumo squat here. Your hands are coming to a prayer position. And you're going to push down through your heels to lift yourself up to standing. And we're going to go for one more shoulder opener while we are standing. So I will turn and face the other direction just to kind of help to show you how to set this one up. So you're just coming to a neutral stance, Tadasana. And then on an inhale, lift your arms around and up to the sky. Grab your right wrist, lean over to the right side. Feeling this stretch through your hips. Inhale, back up through neutral. We will use our obliques to engage. Switch out your grip, leaning over to the right side. Inhale, back up through neutral. Sweep your arms down behind your back, interlacing your hands to make a fist. You're going to inhale, let your shoulders rotate back, pull the heels of your palms together. And then as you exhale, take your fists over to the right side of your hips and drop your right ear over. So this is taking the stretch down the back of your neck. We're just once again opening up those little nooks and crannies. And then unwind, lifting your hands back. Circle your arms around and up to the sky. And we'll go to the other side now. So now circling your arms back down behind your back. See if you can do a little funky grip. So put your opposite thumb on top. Let your shoulder blades come back, opening up your chest, contracting those upper back muscles. And then sweeping your hands over to your left hip now. Drop your left ear over to your left shoulder. And close your eyes for a couple of breaths here. Just allowing everything to sink on into it. Perfect. Release. Inhale your arms around and up to the sky. And we're going to come into an eagle posture, just with our arms. So I want you to circle your arms down. Your right hand is going to circle under your left. And see if you can bring that grip back towards the neutral. And then sink your elbows down into your belly. Drop your chin into your chest. So we're really pulling those shoulder blades away from your spine. This is stretching that rhomboid, that one thing supplied by your C5 spine vertebrae. And then slowly lift your elbows up, stretching out underneath those shoulder blades. And then release. Circle your arms around and up to the sky. Exhale, going the other way now. So left arm sweeps under, wrapping them up as much as you can. If you can just get here, that's fine. Just respect where your body's at. You'll get there. Yoga is a beautiful journey. And then pull your elbows down into your belly button as you tuck your chin under. And then lifting your chin, let your elbows start to travel up, feeling your stretch underneath your shoulder blades. And then release. Circle your arms around and up. And then exhale, come all the way down to your mat. We are there. So we're gonna just end with two beautiful postures. One is a seated twist. So take your left leg across in front of you, and then you can take your right foot in front, or you can step it over, as long as you can still get both of your sits bones down on the mat. Sitting up tall, releasing your arms. Inhale, circle your arms around and up to the sky. Pinky spiral forward, shoulders sink down. And then exhale, you're going to twist to the right, pulling your right knee into your chest, really feeling this stretch. And then from here, drop your left ear over to your left shoulder and just start to rock out your neck a little bit. So it's one more final attempt at stretching it out. Good. And then lifting your chin back up to neutral, we're going to switch out and go the other way. So now bringing your right foot down. Your left knee can stay in front, or you can cross your left foot over that right leg, as long as you can walk your feet forward to keep both sits bones down on the mat. You're going to twist into your left leg, twisting over to the left. You can grab it. You can sink your elbow outside of it. But then from here, drop your right ear over to your right shoulder and allow your body just to twist and stretch just a little bit more. Great. All right, and then come on out of that. And then for our last posture today, we're going to do a supported fish pose. So if you have your two blocks still with you, you're going to set them up like a T. So I have my long one, and then I'm intersecting it with another one at the tip of it. But what you are going to do is, again, we're just pumping our heart forward. So the whole goal of this class today, like I said, was to stretch out our chest, to strengthen our upper back. That's why we did a lot of those postures. And then to also open up your abdominals. But we have to continue this opening of our chest to allow our backs to be strong, which is going to take a lot of that pressure out of your neck. So when you roll back down into this posture, you're aligning this long part of the T with your spine. And I've got this silly bun, which is going to get in the way. And then you are just moving this other one so that your head is supported. So just wiggle it around until you feel like you have this support of the block or the bolster or whatever you've chosen to use, a rolled up towel to push your spine up. You can relax your head on this block. If you feel like you've got more flexibility, feel free to take that block out and just to let your head rest all the way down. But for Shavasana, for a posture that you want to try to be able to hold, ideally for 10 or 15 minutes, although we'll probably just stay here for 2 or 3. You want to have it so that it is very comfortable and accessible to you. So I have butterflied my legs. You can do that. You can feel free to extend your legs long, or if you want to bend and to let your knees just tent together. find whatever is the comfort level for you for today. And while this class was not a super aggressive class, this is a restorative or a therapeutic class for your neck. As we age, we have got to be more cognizant and more aware of our neck and how our posture affects things. It's going to affect your hip development and your spinal development. And many studies have shown that coming back to do neck therapy and to stretch out your neck just help in the functionality of your whole body and in how we store our stress, which most people store in their necks and hunch up. This helps to release that tension. So while this was a very long practice today, for your neck, I recommend strongly coming back and doing 15-minute increments of it at a time and just noticing what differences you might observe in your body. So while I encourage you to stay here at least 5 minutes, whatever your schedule will allow, I am slowly going to guide you through how to get out of this when you are finished. So you will bring your knees up to the sky, slide your elbows back, push over to one side, just to remove those blocks out from underneath you. And then gently roll back down. And please don't skip this step. This is where you're like, whoa, I've got so much space in my back. It feels amazing. But you will roll over to one side, coming into the fetal position. And just staying here for a moment to bring in the benefits of your practice, to calm your mind, to set your focus on your day, and just to feel that openness. And then when you're ready, you will push down into one arm to pull yourself up to a comfortable seated position. All right. I already feel a lot taller. I made the big mistake of planning a date at roller coasters with my daughter today, so I should have done this practice tomorrow. I'll be doing it again for sure. But coming up, thank you all for coming out and sharing your practice this morning. I hope that you feel so much better in your neck and in your back, and that you're more prepared for today and for whatever the world throws at you. But going forth, let there be peace and love in your thoughts, peace and love in your words, and peace and love in your heart. From my heart to yours, Namaste.